Welcome to Conscious Heart Solutions. I have my beautiful guest, Miss Patricia Cori. I'm so thankful to have you, Patricia. I'm super excited about this interview. Patricia and I have been talking for a few minutes prior to the show, and she's just as delightful off camera as she is on, and you'll get a taste of what I mean here shortly. I'm going to share a short bio, and then I will open it up with a few questions for Patricia. If anybody has any questions, and at the end of the, or not the end of the show, well, yeah, closer to the end, if you have questions, just put it on the live link in the comments, and I'll do my best to ask Patricia if we have time, and if she's willing, we will get them answered for you. So Patricia Cori is an internationally acclaimed author and a spiritual leader. She is the former host of the popular radio show Beyond the Matrix, and has been interviewed on hundreds of talk radio and TV programs, including CNN, Coast to Coast, FM syndicated, Coast to Coast FM syndicated radio. Her previous books in the Sirian Revelations series are The Cosmos of Soul, Atlantis Rising, and No More Secrets, No More Lies. I know that was a little bit tongue-tied. Sorry about that. I didn't have it large enough. There's another introduction that I'd like to share with people, if you don't mind, Patricia, that I feel is worthy to share. She has been called a real-life Indiana Jones, for sure, by fans and readers around the world. She's an inspiring icon of truth and a living model of the adventurous spirit and seeker within us all. Internationally acclaimed author Patricia Cori is one of the most well-known and established authorities on the realms of the mystic, views of the world, and multi-dimensional reality that challenges the status quo. She has been a key voice in the alternative media for decades, and a contactee who has brought paradigm-busting information to the public since 1996. And I think that is a great introduction. Welcome, Patricia. Thank you for your patience. Yes. So the Sirian High Council, can we just start there, just for the listeners that are not familiar with your work? And can we just share a little bit about who they are to you and how you became in contact? Yep. Please.
All right. So first of all, thank you for that lovely introduction and for inviting me to be on your show. And, finally we meet after having a connection on social media. So I'm delighted. Okay. That said, so I have been an open and aware person since I was born. My mom said that I was laughing when on the delivery table, when the doctor slapped me, she heard laughter. She said, I thought I was hallucinating because I was so exhausted from the pain. But apparently, instead of crying, I laughed when I got slapped. And I've been laughing my way through life since then, because I feel that it's so important to have a humorous approach to life and understand that, this is a minor passage of our multidimensional journey up the spiral of light. So as a child, my mother was my mentor and God all through my life. And she told me that, and I'm sorry if anybody's already heard this story, but a lot of people asked me to tell it. When I was 4, I walked into the kitchen. She was cooking spaghetti, making spaghetti sauce. That'll give you a clue to my ethnicity. And I looked at her and said, yeah, Mom, I don't know if you realize this, but I'm not from this universe. I'm not from here. And she said she looked at me, because I don't remember the incident. And she said, what, where are you from, honey? I said, I'm from a parallel universe, but I don't think you're ready to understand that quite yet. So I'll get back to you when the time is right. And I trotted out the door. And, this was in the 50s. So I was born in 52. So at that time, we barely had television. So there wasn't this kind of rhetoric. Children didn't have access to this kind of, most people weren't talking about in multidimensional terms. Right. So to hear this kid say, I come from a parallel universe, kind of floored my mother. And she pursued it. She allowed it. She encouraged it in me. so that I stayed open, psychically open, and never closed down like so many children who are forced to close down because they're told they don't, what they're seeing isn't real. At least a time ago. I don't know what they're telling children today that don't even know their gender, but at the
Yeah.
time, it was pretty awesome information. And so all through my life, I stayed open psychically, and I've been a clairvoyant psychic experiencer from then on, and with quite remarkable events happening. And one of them is that as a young girl, as a child, I used to see these beings. I called them the little blue people, and they were like Tinkerbells. They used to come because I'm convinced that they were appearing to me, that this was the Sirian High Council, and they were appearing to me in a way that a child could embrace.
Hmm.
So I had a fort. I remember having this fort with high grass in the garden because we lived up in the mountains. And I would lie in my fort and look up, and these little beings would light on the tips of these long grass structures, and they would talk to me, and I would come to my mother with all this galactic information, not unlike what I've brought forth in many books about the formation of the universe and where we really come from, and the presence of Earth in a sphere of conscious beings, so on and so on. But it was, and I through my life, I've had encounters. I've never talked too much about craft, seeing craft and encounters in my sleep. But the important thing is that at how old was I? 33, 34, something like that. I went into, it was 1996, forget the age. I went into my first crop circle, and I had a dream that the crop circle was a lock-on point for intergalactic, interdimensional contact. And in the dream, a voice told me, pay attention, pay attention. This is going to be very important to you. And I woke up in the middle of the dream, and I was in England for I was doing a course in color healing. So I woke up in the dorm of this school, this college, and jotted down what I'd heard. And because of that dream, getting back to the professor, he said, Patricia, you're not here to learn about color healing. You're here to get into that crop circle, and I'm going to take you. I said, what crop circle? What's a crop circle?
Wow.
Because I dreamt it exactly. It was next to Stonehenge. I described it and I drew it, but I didn't know what it was. So he said, oh, don't you know? And I saw a picture in a bookstore, was exactly what I had drawn.
Freaking amazing. Yeah.
So he took me there, and that's where I was taken out of my body for 2 hours. I went on what I call the greatest cosmic galactic journey of my life, losing consciousness, waking up in the crop field. It was darker. He was gone. He was actually standing over me at that point. Are you okay, Patricia? Are you okay? And I'm spaced out beyond reality. And I said, I lost consciousness for a few minutes. He said, you've been out for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And when I got up, he said, I'm going to go get the car. It's getting late. I'll go get the car and I'll drive up to where the gate is. And I said, oh, okay. And he left me, and I was in this altered state. I was seeing plasma balls and interdimensional beings walking around this field. It was beyond reality. And I know that I was attuned to this group of interdimensional, non-physical consciousness beings who identified themselves to me as the Sirian High Council. And they started downloading information. And I want to just say that, having had a life of being a psychic clairvoyant, I really wasn't interested in being any kind of automatic writer. I didn't want to be a medium. I wasn't drawn to channeling. Well, of course, there wasn't very much of it going on back then anyway. It's like everybody's channeling today. But back in the day, I was kind of, like you said before, one of the first people to bring forward this type of work. But it just kept coming through, and book after book after book after book, more information. And finally, I mean, in the first book, The Cosmos of Soul, I finally just yielded to it. I was like, is this for me? Is this for me teaching? Because I had a center in Rome called Lightworks. And I was teaching courses there and all kinds of stuff, good stuff back in the 90s. And it was, no, this is a book. Just keep writing. You just keep writing. Just be open, receive. And book after book, I had no problem getting published. And that's my story. So I work with these beings to this day. In fact, I'm doing a new book. And, you know, they've guided my life. And I have to say, in 25 years of book production, they've guided a lot of lives as well. I'm very honored to say a lot of people
Absolutely.
have really been touched by this material.
Yes. I mentioned to you, and I am going to make it my, you know, just so I can say I have actually physically got one of your books. I'm going to make it my business to order, and I'd like to order your most recent. I'll wait till, well, if you want to share a little bit about that with the publishing situation going on. I don't know if you want to share that now or you want to wait.
Sure. Yeah, I was cancel cultured. I call it cancel cultured by my publisher, who has gone to a socialist, provocative slant in there. They've taken this new age spiritual publishing house, North Atlantic Books. When I came in, it was very light and luminous and spiritual. And now the people that are running it are very political, and they're into political, socialist propaganda type of vibe. And
Yeah.
they didn't feel like I was apparently good enough member of the community of writers that they had. One by one, I think writers are leaving now, but I had the audacity to challenge a letter that they sent around about how important it was to be in support of Black Lives Matters and the political perspective of 8 million other.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
And I wrote back and said, yes, I agree, but not with hate, because it was a very militant message.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I agree in support of so many causes, but not with hate, with love. And they didn't like that retort. And so I woke up one morning and I got a message. Now, all of my books sell well. I am a very, as you know, very present social media person. I do interviews and I interview people on my show. I promote the books. There's, you know, a publisher's dream. And the books were all selling well. And bingo, thanks a lot. It's been real. We've taken you as far as you can go, which was a shocker. And people are begging for my books right now, because there was a constant sell of these books. And there are a lot of them. There's 12, 14 books out. 2 of them I'm a co-author in, so that doesn't count, but they're gone. People are scrambling to get them. And so the good news is I was immediately picked up by Inner Traditions, who are the best spiritual publishers out there. And
we'll see how things happen. That's fabulous.
Yeah, I'm a good.
We know we're moving into a new paradigm now, or new, you know, so out with the old and in with the new, and new, fresh. Yeah.
It's so important for people to always remember that. It's like when they first told me, I started to laugh. When I got this email, I read it, and we've done all we can for you. And I knew that my email to them aggravated them, because the vice president said to me, we're sorry that you don't recognize our platform, that you don't agree with us. And I thought, oops, I'm out. So when I got the letter, I just laughed, because I thought, my, aren't we in some hard times here? But I always land on my feet, and I am in my highest ethics. And I trust that the universe has a plan, and that I am capable of enacting that plan for myself. So I don't just wait for the universe to do things. I am a constructive manifester. And I just say, okay, so I'm letting go of that. So now let's open the door and see what happens. Bam. I didn't have to, I just got contacted immediately. We hear you're no longer with NAB, and we'd love to bring you into the family of Inner Traditions, which is about as good as it gets.
Absolutely.
So they'll be.
I'm so excited for you with that. Well, I appreciate that statement you just made, constructive manifester. I think it would serve us all well to really heed what you just said. And because a lot of times so many people think that things are out of their hand. I surely was one at some point, not now, but years ago, where I just felt like I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was grasping, you know, and trying to figure out, you know, how to get not control, but control over my own life. Like because I was in such shambles inside, everything outside of me, especially when you're going through a dark night of the soul, right, Patricia? I don't know if you've had those, I don't think I've ever really heard you share about dark night of the soul. Have you experienced?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that knowing extreme pain is vital to a healer,
Yeah.
and facing your darkness and a feeling of abandonment and questions of self-worth. This is all part of you growing with it. There are people that will stay stuck with it, stuck in it, in victim consciousness. There are others who will pull it up into the light and grow from it and get through it. All the stronger, all the more beautiful, all the more powerful for it.
Oh, I thank you for just saying that, because I feel like that's where I'm at this point. I'm finally really coming out of it. So that really means a lot, what you just said. That's going to stick with me for a long time. Thank you. And for a lot of those people that are, oh my gosh, I love listening to you. I feel so honored to have you on this show. I really do. Can we talk a little bit? Can you share with the audience? So I know that other people have heard, there may be some that are listening in that have come across your work, but I'm imagining that there are a lot that have not. I know that. So you were on Michael Jaco's show, talking about being surrounded by these dolphins. You went out. Can we talk a little? I know I'm kind of jumping a little bit, but that's just such a fascinating story for me, because people don't realize that we have connections to our Earth Mother and to our, other life forms that are family, quite literally. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was channeling a book. It's called Before We Leave You, Messages from the Great Whales and the Mighty Dolphin Beings. And what was happening was I was being awakened in the night. The first thing that happened was I was teaching a course in Jordan. Imagine teaching
Wow.
DNA activation and multidimensional consciousness in Jordan. And in the middle of the workshop, it was the second day of the workshop, I had 40 people in front of me, and I started stuttering, and I found myself teleported psychically into a disaster scene where these dolphins and whales were thrashing around in low water in the ocean, and they were dying. And I was in the middle of it, and I knew they were dying, and I was crying, trying to get them to go back out into the water, into the deeper water, watching them all die. And I started hyperventilating. I've never had anything like that happen to me in public, right? And these people didn't know what to do, because as it was, convincing Muslim people to have me there was already something interesting.
Right.
And to be having this kind of a fit in the middle of the discourse was a little bit difficult for them, but
Yeah.
much more for me. And so I was, at one point I was like, oh my God. And I ran out of the room and into the bathroom, and I was hyperventilating, and I almost passed out and crying. It was a terrible, terrible situation. And later that day, when I finished, I managed to get myself back together and finish the course. And then I went to my hotel, and I heard on the news that 150 whales and dolphins together, which is already very strange, had beached themselves in New Zealand. So I was there when it happened psychically. I was connecting into it at that moment. And that was the beginning. And it started happening a lot. Like, it happened there. Then about a month later, it happened again. It happened in the middle of the night. And my man called me in the morning, and he said, have you seen the news? And I go, no. But I had been choking in my dream and dreaming about dolphins dying. And he said, you better turn on the news. And there it was again. And I was frightened, because I thought, this is not how I want to use my skill. I do not want to be suffering. And I was like, how ridiculous. If they're contacting me, they're trying to get a message to the world.
Yes.
So this triggered me determining, okay, if I'm going to channel this pain or whatever it is, I also need to know the joy and the freedom. And I need to be with them in the ocean, because otherwise I'm a con. I need to know them, really know them.
Yeah.
And so that means I have to confront my fear because I've always had an innate fear of sharks. It's inexplicable. I must have been eaten by sharks somewhere along the line. And I thought, oh, okay, so I've got to, in order to go with the dolphins, I've got to confront my shark fear. Okay, let's do it all together. So I came to the
I
Azores.
remember listening to this story. I'm like, go, please go ahead. Yes.
I came to the
It's
Azores because it was
amazing.
the best
Yeah.
place to come to get really wild dolphins. And I I chartered a boat for 3 days in a row, and there were no dolphins. It was just waiting, waiting, waiting. And the third day, the captain said, "Okay, Patricia, we've got a pod of dolphins off at the other island because there are 3 islands here. And one of them called is San Jorge." He said, "We got to get in the boat because," he said, "we're going to have a ride out there." I said, "But by the time we get there, will they still be there?" And he said, "We don't know, but it's a huge pod of dolphins, and they're in repose." So off we go. And I really thought,
Well, just quickly, she's in Portugal, everybody. She lives in Portugal, which is
in the
amazing in
Azores,
itself. I mean, yeah,
in the Azores Island.
yeah.
So as we were roaring out there in this little Zodiac boat, you know, the pontoon boats that you could touch the water,
Mhm.
I suddenly thought, "Oh, what am I, absolutely crazy? I'm going to jump in the middle of the ocean off of this boat." Hold on a minute here. I started to get fear. And as we approached, I saw this bay of fins. I'd never seen that many fins in my life. And I could see dolphins jumping, and I just choked. I said, I don't think I can do this. And the guy goes, "Patricia, we've got about 300 dolphins here. This is like your dream come true." I said, "Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of fins out there." He said, "Right, they're dolphins. They have fins." I said, "Right, but how do you know they're not sharks?" He said, "Because the sharks don't usually swim with dolphins." I said, "Yeah, but I'm unusual. Did you not know I'm unusual? I don't do usual. So that doesn't matter if it's unusual." And he says, "Patricia, you've got 300 dolphins in repose."
Oh
He
my
said, "I've gotten you
goodness.
here." He said, "So if you don't jump in, we will, because this is remarkable." I was like, "Okay, okay, I can do this. I can do this." I went through my paces. And I had made a scroll out of rice paper. I had all my readers send me messages they wanted to send to the dolphins. And messages like, "Please don't give up on us, the human race. We love you." It was beautiful. I did it in ink, in squid ink, so I wouldn't damage the environment. Okay. So I took this scroll out of my wetsuit. I jumped in. I was panicked. I mean, it's, you know, you don't know if there's a bunch of sharks there, even though they say they don't swim with dolphins. There's been plenty of dolphins that have been attacked by sharks. So I was catapulted into my fear big time. Oops, almost an accident. And I pulled out my scroll and I held it out, and all this rice paper melted in the water, and they started to come toward me. It was like, you know, "Oh, okay, thanks for the message." And they just started swimming toward me. There were so many, and there were mothers with their babies. And there were two that were right in front of me. I call them the sentinels. And they were right in front of me and just checking me out. And they were doing echolation on me. So I could feel, they were doing my chakra system,
That
right?
is so freaking amazing.
It was.
Oh my
And I could
gosh.
feel it was like, and then they turned their heads same time so that they could look at me, and they went, moved out of the way, and all these dolphins starts coming up to me. And meanwhile, how in the middle of this, something hits my arm. I go, "This is it. I'm shark meat," because I know that sharks do a first impact very often. They come up, they hit you, and then they come back around and rip your arm off.
Oh
Right.
my God.
So I was just confronted with this terror. And I had this pow, really strong, a big, huge dolphin hit me, and then it slid down my body, went down to my fins, leaped out of the water, jumped back in, and the captain of the boat saw it. He said, "We've never seen anything like this happen with live dolphins."
I get excited listening to this story. I can see it. I am so
It was
in
so amazing.
awe. Yeah.
So anyway, it jumped out of the water and it jumped right back in next to me, and it looked at me because, you know, they have to turn their head sideways. He looked at me and he went, "Yeah," and off he went. And I realized that he was telling me, "Okay, no more fear of sharks now." And I was free in this pod. They were in repose, which is so rare. They're always on the move. You jump in the water, you get a brief and then off they go again. They were relaxed, they were hanging. And so I was in the water until I could swim no more. And they were still around me. The captain was blown off the map.
So
Blown.
so a complete healing took place, I believe, in alignment of your chakra system. And we know that whales and dolphins and balance the earth by the frequency of the earth. That the whales, they know when there's the frequency is off of the earth, and they're the ones that keep it balanced, correct? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, the whales are keeping the frequency of the musical frequency of the water, of the ocean.
Right.
So especially the humpback whales, they're singing frequencies that can go out 100 miles, then a whale 100 miles away can pick it up and they do a relay around the planet.
Right.
And the Sirian High Council says, and so do the whales and dolphins that I channeled, that they're in charge of maintaining the balance of Earth's emotional body, which is the water.
That's what I was trying to say. And you said I couldn't get it. Yes, Patricia. How amazing. That is so amazing. I'm so happy you got to have that experience. I would love to have some, maybe one day I'll be fortunate enough to have something that even comes remotely.
Well, maybe one day when we're out of this ridiculous totalitarian situation, maybe you can come over, because every summer I used to do dolphin swim programs here.
Wow.
Taking people out to swim with the
Oh,
dolphins.
I would definitely do. Well, I'm going to call it into our reality, and I would love to meet you and hug you and go swimming with the dolphins.
Plus, I call the program Remembering Atlantis because I am sure as one can be, that these islands are remnants of Atlantis. And the local people know that. If you get talking to some older folk here, and after they have a glass of wine, they'll start talking about the Atlantis mythology. Because, Plato said that Atlantis was real. In his dialogues, people said that what Plato said was a utopian impression of a land that he named Atlantis. But actually, he said, this is real. It exists outside the Pillars of Hercules, and it's a vast continent. And the Pillars of Hercules are the Straits of Gibraltar. And if you do a straight line across going west, that's the Azores. So I truly believe that the Azores Islands are remnants of this continent of Atlantis. So it's a double whammy. I'm here. I moved here because the whales brought me here. And I moved here because I know it's Atlantis. And I began my journey of many lifetimes on this planet in Atlantis. And I think this is my last time on this planet. And so I think I was brought here to finish my lifetime's reincarnation cycle in Atlantis.
That's so absolutely fascinating, Patricia. But we're all very gifted to be able to hear your stories and your experiences and learn from you. And
we all have.
I could just see the whole thing in my head, your whole experience with the dolphins. I mean, it's not hard for me to pull it up in my, and what my vision of what that would look like for sure. And it's just so beautiful. And I'm so happy you got to have that experience. That's so fabulous.
I'm really blessed. In my life, I've had some mind-blowing experiences because I've been they call me Indiana Jones. And I've been all over the world. I've taken people on these sacred journeys. I've had extraordinary mystical things happen to me. Tibet, we won't even discuss, extraordinary things. But I have to say that being alone in the water, because I told them, look, I don't mean to be rude or mean, but I don't want anybody to come in with me. Yeah. And they were, oh, okay. Because they're marine biologists, they want to take advantage of the experience too, but I just wanted to be alone with them. So just me in this vast ocean with all these dolphins, and they were everywhere around me. I mean, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
I can imagine.
The greatest mystical experiences of my life.
So do you consider, so you would, I mean, not to put labels, because I think we're connected to so many different star nations. I don't know that You know, I shared with you that I know that I'm Pleiadian. I know that just from downloads and information and having, you know, people I had readings with that didn't know what I know and were able to tell me things that just confirmed what I already knew. So do you believe that you're Syrian? Are you from, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, I mean, what is your, yeah.
I
So,
believe that we are from many places,
right.
and that what we perceive as the physical universe is completely wrong, and that conquering travel at the spirit level, at light body level, is simply willing to be there at the soul level.
Mm,
So, you know, we use this expression star seed, and people imagine that somehow we traverse the galaxy and the universe as stardust. And it's poetic, but I think it's much more, either more simple than that or more complex than that. I'm not sure which. I believe when I was telling my mother I was from a parallel universe far, far away, that it was possibly not even a star system within our galaxy, but another universe far, far away, and that perhaps it's not that far as we think. So I believe that we all have an affiliate, an identity that we feel for certain star systems if we connect with the starseed energy. And personally, I think I've been around a long time, and I think I've been in a few different star systems as a soul.
well,
I
I think so
definitely
too, especially
identify.
with yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but you know, as I sit here and I get, you know, thoughts that come into my mind, and I'm an open channel for information for sure. And I can tell you that I feel that you are an extremely old soul. Like uh not in a, you know, I'm not saying that, like you definitely, I mean, I can feel your energy, and I definitely know that you're, you know, powerful and and have had many experiences doing many, like your what's the word I want to use, your abilities and your gifts and your work and many lifetimes has been to do extraordinary uh work and change for this planet, and I imagine for many others. So, you know, I imagine, I mean, your light probably hits the high heavens. You're a pretty large being, and yeah, that's freaking amazing. Patricia, people don't get, I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to, like, you know, make this so um over the top or whimsical or fantastical, but not many people get in the water with hundreds of dolphins surrounding them.
Yeah.
Okay. I
But
mean, that's not
especially,
some like by chance, you know, that was divinely orchestrated for you
yeah.
in honor and remembrance of who you are at the soul level.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And you know, I want to say also that the captain of this little company here that takes me out, he said, you know, Patricia, recently I had a friend who came for a visit, and we chartered the boat privately, which is rather expensive, but she and I both wanted to see what would connect. And when we got to the dock, he said, we don't have any sightings to speak of, because they've got sightings because the islands are close. They have what they call vigia, with really high powered telescopes, who convey to the boat people, you know, latitude 54, we've got a pot of whales, or whatever, right? Because it's a big ocean out there. This is the ocean, it's not a bay. Okay. And he said, we aren't hearing anything. I said, you're worried? And he laughed. He said, no, I forget it's you, because every time I'm on the boat, we get these remarkable sightings. And one year he said, Patricia, we're in trouble. We haven't had any sightings. It's June 1st. Would you be willing to come out on the boat with us? Because we know you'll bring them in. And I said, as long as you'll allow me to have these tourists understand that we need to go into meditation and ask to enter. And that day, I didn't go. I just couldn't get up that early. And so I told him, I can't make it down there, but I'll be meditating and calling them in for you. And he said, after 1 month of no sightings, we had 6 species of whales and 5 pods of dolphins. I said, well, that's how you do it. He goes, I don't understand it, because they're marine biologist mindset. But
Yeah.
that day that I went with this friend of mine, he said he was so concerned. I said, you're worried? And he said, I'm never worried when you're on the boat. I let it go. I said,
Oh, that's lovely.
and we
Yeah.
went out, and again, she and I were alone on the boat, and he said, there's also a whale. We heard it. I go, forget the whale. Just, I want to be with dolphins. He said, well, there might be some dolphins this way. I go that way. We'll find the dolphins. And once again, we hit this pod of dolphins. It was immense. There was at least 400 dolphins. And he goes, I give up, Patricia. I give up. We don't
That's
see
so
this kind of
amazing.
stuff. And we were in the middle of this pod on this boat. And until we finally, you go out, we weren't jumping in the water that day. It's cold. But usually you're with the dolphins for a while and they swim away, and that's it. They stayed with us. They were all around us. They were bringing their babies to the boat. I was singing and chanting, and they were connecting. And so, it's a very powerful connection I have, and respect and celebrate. And I'm never
Oh,
disappointed. Never.
that's just so amazing. I'm sitting here just imagining everything that you're sharing and just thinking, God, you know, everybody would, yeah, that's so amazing. So
But back
do you ever do you ever connect with the earth in consciousness and talk with
oh, yeah.
some call her Gaia, some would say Terra. I believe more Terra rather than Gaia, but that's just whatever. But
In a name.
yeah,
What's
I'm
in a
sorry.
name? What's in a name? What matters
Yeah,
is the
exactly.
name.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm here. I've never been a city dweller. I've always had to live up in altitude because of my Atlantean memories and in nature. So when I moved here, it was like bowing down completely to Mother Gaia.
Yeah.
And I am, surrounded by forest, green hills, water, clean air. And, my ritual is to meditate and walk. I walk barefoot. People always tell me, you're crazy walking barefoot in the forest. I go, really? You're crazy for not doing it.
Yeah.
And, I'm a
Oh my
I'm a nerd.
goodness.
And my message for people when we talk about ascension is, hey, have you noticed what a beautiful planet this is? With all its sham and drudgery, as the Desiderata says, this is a beautiful world. This is the Garden of Eden we got. Take yourself to those places where it helped you remember what beauty is here, what perfection is here. And I feel like I'm living in it, chosen. And, these are choices. It's like going out with the dolphins. It costs a lot of money to do that. It's also, you have to facilitate these things by setting your pointing your arrow at what your objective is and helping manifest it, right? So when it came to moving here, it was like, okay, I'm going to be gearing down from a life of convenience, of city living, of theater, of all the goodies and chaos, to a very simple, very, very simple life. It's one supermarket. There's my dog in the background.
I see him.
One
Yeah.
supermarket, couple of gas stations, one traffic light on the whole island.
That's freaking amazing. I can totally see myself. I mean, I don't know. I'm 53. So I live in a small apartment in Florida, right? I moved here from Maryland, and I grew up maybe a half hour out of DC, right on the DC Maryland line. Yeah, and Wheaton. And I've learned as I've gotten older how much I so appreciate like the country and the ocean and nature and all of it. I do intend to have my own space at some point where I have my own land and a home and a new beloved if I meet, uh
I broke up with my beloved, and so I'm here now as a single, and I have to say the joy of being single, I don't think I could ever go back to another relationship. I think I've done that.
I get it. I understand. Well, I've been quite comfortable for the past 4 years on my own, but I still would love to have a partner, somebody to hang out with and spend time and build together and so forth and do amazing things together. But
You will manifest it.
I'm sorry.
And I'm sure you will manifest it.
I will when it's time. I know I still have, my own stuff going on. I really want to get myself in a position where I'm independent financially, and I've, done all the, I don't know that we ever arrived, but definitely the inner work where I am able to bring value and not bring nonsense into relationships. Yeah, I'm the youngest of 12, like I told you, and I
Wow.
watched a lot of stuff in my time, and I've experienced a lot. I won't go into all that, but the point is I made it my business to take time out for myself to be alone and on my own so that I can really go deep and get to the root. Look at that one. He's in love with his mama.
She wants to.
Or she, sorry. Yeah.
Right now, because
Yes.
Pepper. Hold on.
So beautiful. She's
Pepper.
such a beauty.
No.
Hi, Pepper. Hi, pretty girl. Hi there.
Like, I need you, Mom.
Amazing. I was like, Mommy, come on.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Oh, yeah. I know that was tough losing
My
had
karma.
yeah.
Yeah, but again, I was in such a gripping pain, and I just said, okay, I've got to do something to fight this, because I'm going down here. It was deeply emotional pain.
No.
So I just said, it doesn't make sense. I don't have room for it. I'm getting a puppy. I don't want just any dog. I want another German Shepherd, and I want a puppy because I love German Shepherds. If you've had a Shep, there's nothing like it. And so on this island, forget it. So I had to find a breeder in Lisbon and fly her over. And of course, the universe provided me with a guy who had a litter. And I thought, I can't go to Lisbon because I'm not taking the medical.
Yeah.
So I said, look, is there any chance that you would ship her over? Sight unseen. And he said, yeah, we can do that. And I was like, okay, done deal. And then came my baby. And so she's still a baby. That's why she's like, please, Mom, come back. I need
Yes. But I'm so happy that you have her. I kept saying, I was going to get a small dog because I live in my apartment's comfortable for one person, and it's a pretty decent complex where I live, and I have all the amenities and all the good stuff, whatever. But so I'm not in Jacksonville City, like downtown. I'm on the outskirts of Mandarin. It's a small apartment, and there's really, I don't know. I just don't want to bring a dog into a small space. I need somewhere but I intend to have an animal at some point. I've had them before, they're lovely, lovely companions for sure. And she seems to have fallen in love with you. I could see her looking up to you and wanting that. Yeah. So
in the change stages, so I got to keep my eye on her.
Yeah, that's fine. I know we've talked, so you have several books out, and we will be sure we're actually running them. People can see them during the live here, and anybody interested, a simple Google search of Patricia Cori you'll be able to get a lot of information about her books and her work and so forth. But she does have a course. I wanted to bring up the course now, the DNA activation and repair course. Can we talk a little bit about that?
So I think I was the very first person, and if not the first, one of the first, to ever talk about DNA activation back 6 years ago.
Yes. Okay. Well, I know, 11, 12 years ago, I heard you talk, when I came across you for sure. So, and you were doing things way before I came online, my DNA activation, so to speak. So you were super helpful to me in understanding, but please go ahead. Yeah.
Part of the training from the Syrians was that the explanation that we were designed as 12-stranded Christed beings by benevolent ETs and Christed ETs and multidimensional beings that seeded the earth with what they intended to be Christed Homo sapiens. Okay, and we know the many books and information have come out since that it was sabotaged by forces that wanted to take us down. So we were taken from the original 12-stranded complex of DNA strands. If you can imagine a 12-stranded double helix, right? Or a 6-stranded double helix, correction. And taken down to the absolute minimum for existence, which would be the 2-stranded Homo sapiens double helix that we have today. Okay, so we have 87% of our DNA, as they call it, junk. Just cracks me up. And 80% of our brain, probably the exact same percent, is gray matter. And the scientific community and the medical community get away with saying, oh, well, we don't know what it is, but so we'll call it junk. So 82% of the crystal light grid within every Homo sapiens is somehow disconnected, somehow unplugged. So it's called junk. It exists, but we don't know what it does. Are you kidding me? In today's absolute technological AI, ET, advanced information about the composition of DNA, you mean to tell me you still don't know what the other 82% is doing? I so don't think so. It was unplugged from the 82% of gray matter in the brain that connects all of our light, all of our wisdom, all of our capacity, our multidimensional knowledge, experience, wisdom, capacity. And it was disassembled, unplugged, you want to call it. I like to call it unplugged. I think of the image of a switchboard, and the brain is like a switchboard of neurons. And these DNA filaments were just unplugged, disassembled, so that we were taken down to a very primary state of mind. And always with the intention of these dark forces to destroy destroy this creature called Homo sapiens, Christ walking, because they did not want light on this planet. They wanted darkness. They want to mine the planet. They want to strip life out of this planet and mine it for lithium and uranium and whatever, and use it as a stopping point for ETs, nefarious ETs and other things. And so these light being ETs and multidimensional beings that wanted to seed the Christed human were sabotaged. And this is all part of the battle that we're under right now, the light and dark battle. These guys are after our DNA. They want us to have no DNA crystal light, which is why this whole debacle is underway, which I don't think we want to get into so that we can keep your YouTube channel going. But it has to do with taking poison into your body that alters your DNA. Now, the important thing is that even with just 2 strands of DNA, look at us. We're wonderful. We're capable of incredible things. Imagine 12 strands, the Christed soul. So that's what I've been working on, is to help people reassemble, reactivate this dormant DNA that knows exactly what it's supposed to do. And at a time when we are being battered by electromagnetic radiation, poisons, toxins, and AI intent, all this dark stuff. I personally have been teaching DNA activation for 25 years. And never has it been more relevant than now, because I'm convinced, and that conviction comes with much guidance from the Sirian High Council, that we can alter the DNA. We can reactivate it by various techniques that include sound frequency and mind over matter, and everything that I offer in this. I've made it an online course now so that people can do it without having to come see me in New York or London or whatever. And it's about repairing the DNA, and it's about constantly doing this, because your DNA is under attack. And I
Right. So
truly believe,
it's a daily well, it's like brushing your teeth. You have to have spiritual hygiene. You have to do things daily to maintain this vibration of activation and being able to really walk in that light, right? And it's because it's so easy to get swayed one way or another. So when you're
well,
doing
the first thing you have to do is clear out the miasms, and this is all in the course. Clear out the sticky gunk, clear out the miasms, the traps, the hooks, the cords that have been placed on you at that level. And then in the course, I teach how to send sacred geometric consciousness into the DNA itself. And by doing that, creating first a tetrahedral sacred geometric form where you integrate another strand of DNA. So you've got 3-stranded helix, which is based on the tetrahedron. And then the second meditation in the course is bringing in another tetrahedron so that you create the star Merkaba inside the DNA. And when you've got that in place,
yeah,
it generates out this sacred form throughout your body. So at a time when they're trying to destroy the sacred essence, the God code within you, you come back with, nope, I don't think so. So, and I want to also say that we were taught how sound affects water molecules by Dr.
emoji.
Dr. Emoto.
Emoto. I knew it was, yeah.
He taught us a lot. He was a real champion. He showed us how the molecule wants to return to its 6-sided perfection, which is what I'm teaching in the course, the 6-sided perfection that is the molecule or the atom or the DNA, whatever you want to interpret those subatomic particles and nuclear cellular particles to hold. And so that's what I'm doing in that course. And it's available now on my website, patriciacori.com. And I truly think that it has to do with how you hold your power in this time and your light and your strength and your barrier against interference in your DNA God code. I talk about that a lot.
I know you do, Patricia. I've listened to you for years. I hope everybody that's listening to this, I don't care if it's 1 or 1,000, that you take the time to research Patricia's work. And I know that it's time for me to get a little bit like more serious. Like I just have my mind in so many different places, but I know that like I feel it's coming, that I really need to start taking my spiritual development more serious. I do my own things, and I feel definitely connected, but I also know there's room for growth, I definitely don't know everything, and and I'm always open to learning new ways and perspectives as long as I'm being led into, something that is liberating and I feel sovereign and not being, because I'm not big on being a follower of anybody, but I do honor and respect people's work. And I've learned a great deal from you, and I appreciate you. I can't say that enough. Yeah. I know for sure that, and just watching you over the years and reading your posts on Facebook and being friendly with you and what I've learned, and, we're now finally meeting and I get to have you as a guest on my show. I mean, this is huge for me, even to start a YouTube channel, because, I had a lot of challenges throughout my life. And one of which, as confident as people may have, perceive me to be, and I do consider myself very confident in most areas of my life, I do have struggled with being able to stay focused. One, so it kind of it causes me to feel a little concerned about doing interviews because my mind jumps around so much. So, I've like, Ida, can you really do this? But I am doing it. And I have you on the show. And, I had to overcome that fear of not being perfect and just being genuine, authentic. And well, you've shown me that it's okay just to show up as, I would anyways. It's just part of who I am. I show up just as I am, and I really don't look to be to impress anybody. Just come from the heart. And I think enough, like, yeah.
And the minute I start hearing people talk about everything they know and how they're an authority, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of it out there, it's a total turnoff for me, because
Yeah.
I think the true teacher is all about how the other grows, empowering the other. If I have to prove to you that I'm some guru, I am a joke. And that's the thing. When I hear people say they're a master or a guru, it makes me laugh, because a master would never say they're a master.
I agree. I absolutely. Well, listen, I won't even go there. I mean, I've observed many in the alternative media, and I don't make it my business to talk poorly about anybody. I just don't. So, but there are some that I have chosen to. I learn what I needed to, and I keep it moving. And
the unfortunate thing at the moment is there are also a lot of plants in the New Age spiritual alternative community.
Absolutely.
And they come in big, and they've got money behind them. So all of a sudden they're there, and they're everywhere from nowhere. And they're talking to Jesus and every political leader, and they're got the, it kills me when people say my whistleblowers. I mean, you take a Carrie Cassidy, she has genuine whistleblowers, and she usually introduces them in an interview. But a lot of people are like, oh, I just got a download, or oh, my whistleblower told me, or oh, I had a conversation with Trump. I'm like, really, where's the proof of this? I'm sorry, but you're not convincing.
Yeah.
And bless them. I mean, I don't know what the game is, but my attitude is,
well,
I'm not impressed.
Yeah, if you'd like, and I didn't intend for this, but now that you've brought it up, I mean, I can tell you that, and I'm just going to say this briefly. So there was a time when I went through being contacted, I wasn't prepared for what I experienced, Patricia, and so I went against the status quo. I'll just say that to you, and I'll be glad to talk to you off camera, but I won't do it here now, because it's not. I have no. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to be talking about names ever, because I don't think that's appropriate.
So
but it is important.
And I don't, and I'm not, and I agree. So my point is, but to have, if I shared some things with you, you would understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. But I'll just tell you that there is going to come a time, in the next, I don't know how soon, but I just know it's going to happen, where there's going to be more clarity about who's here on the planet, what we're here doing, and so forth. Okay. Because I know for sure everybody's here. Okay. And everybody's here. Let's just say that. And I say that with great confidence in knowing this. And my goal is to make peace and to come in harmony and to stop the nonsense with the, Enki and Enlil and, Jesus and Lucifer and all the stuff. Because at the end of the day, we are in these human bodies, and we're here to change the trajectory of the way this planet was going. And I believe we've already won, for sure. But we're now playing things out. And I think for those like yourself, like myself, and others, many others, that are not buying into their narrative, or not willing to give up our sovereignty, or to, allow fear to cause our own demise. It's a choice. It's a conscious choice to say absolutely not. I will leave. For me, I'll leave this body before I ever allow them to put a poison into me. I don't fear death. I've crossed over. I've come back. I've had my own experiences. Yeah. So
I don't know that we've already won, because I don't know if this is a winner. This is this concept of win or lose, Armageddon, dark and light. I think in a progressive.
Well, maybe. Okay.
And my approach at the moment is, I believe that we're being that before this all came down, everybody was all about ascension, right? Everything was ascension. Everybody was in 5D. This was the vogue of the moment. And the Syrians kept saying, you don't get to just leap into the fifth dimension before you go through the fourth. And the fourth is a bitch. You're confronting all of the darkness that was the history of your planet and all of the light too. So you're confronting the dark ages, the Renaissance, the evil perpetrated, the wars, the great moments, all of it, all at once. And I was like, yeah, how's that going to be? Because in my latest book, they talk about the fourth dimension. You're already in it. You're already, it's fluttering through you. And that was 4 years ago. So now we're in the fourth dimension. I believe that we're in the fourth dimension. This is what it looks like. It's not fairyland. It's not a higher state of consciousness. It is a totality of realities merging, converging. And that rather than win or lose here, I think what's happening is we have a field of opportunity to determine where we're going.
That's okay. So I agree absolutely with everything that you just said. And my choice of words may not have been as articulate as what you've just shared. And I appreciate that. So what I mean when I say when, what I'm meaning is that the opportunity for us to move into higher states of consciousness, call it dimensions. We've already proven that we can, put it that way.
Yeah.
So
and
that's what I meant.
We're in the thick of it right now. And some of us are choosing to be vocal and fearless, like you, like me, and like many other, like Sasha and Michael and so many great people out there. And putting our asses on the line to do that in complete integrity and honor and respect, and creating a new frontier.
Yes,
so I personally am living very differently than I used to. I used to have bucks, never huge bucks, but bucks to hop on a plane and stay in a 5-star hotel in Egypt and, go out to fine restaurant. This is all gone. Okay. Now I'm homesteading. I'm learning about solar. I'm living a very different life and I love it. And the question is, there's nothing going into this body unless I'm dead, at which time they're welcome to play with my body, have fun. But I think
that's interesting you say that. I lost a brother that my sister agreed to. So you're familiar with super soldier programs and these. Yeah.
Well, I say you can go ahead and play with my body, but I don't really mean that because I don't want any of first of all, I'm too old. My body isn't interesting for them anymore.
No. The reason I'm saying that is you just made me think, because I was so upset with the fact that my sister allowed Baltimore when he passed away, even though he disowned himself from our family. And that's a whole nother story. But I definitely know it in my heart of hearts that he was used in these projects programs. And she allowed them to do like research on him, what's it called? Not research, but use his body as for scientific research or whatever. Yeah. And I don't like that. But I definitely know that once you leave the body, I had years ago, and I'm open with this. I used to carry some, I don't know if it was so much shame, but people didn't really understand, how one would get to the point where they want to take their own life. But I did. I was just tired. I was really tired. It was a long time ago. And I just remember being in my apartment and saying, because it just seemed like every time I would get my life together and think I was getting on the right track and making some headway, that I would fall back into the same. It was like I was just looping over and over and over again. I got tired of it, Patricia. I just said, this is bullshit. Excuse my language, if this is the way life's going to be, I'm not doing this. And I had several experiences. I've been, I definitely know that I was initiated into this realm, and that's what, I could share a lot of stuff, but this isn't about me. But I'm only sharing this with you to say that when I said, okay, I'm done, I'm tired now, I'm going to lay down, and I don't know if I'm going to get up, but I'm laying down now, and I've taken a bunch of pills, and I laid on the couch like, this big hand's going to come through the ceiling and say, and snatch me up and shake some sense into me. I just was at that low of despair within me that nobody knew. I was by myself, and it's not that I just surrendered to, I felt like it was more of a surrender rather than a giving up. Like I just was tired. And I had taken these pills, and I went through this state of, it was like this whoosh, like I walked through this wall of energy. Like I could feel it even now with my energy. It was like this, and I walked through and I could see like a pond of water, and I saw footprints of me walking and mountains in front of me. And all of a sudden I noticed everything fade out. There was nothing there. It was pure white light. And I realized I'm looking down and I had no hands, no feet, no body, but I was conscious. Like I was aware that I could not see myself or, and I said, God, if you're real, show me. And the 2 words I heard, I am. I woke up the next day and I'm like, I didn't need to go to the hospital and get the stomach pumped. I didn't, none of this stuff. And I'm running around telling everybody God spoke to me in a dream and, trying to explain and this and that. And I don't know where I'm going with this, why I brought that up. There was a reason for me telling you this story. But anyways, the point is I don't fear. I do believe that we transition from one reality into another, and that we do prepare for our lives next, or we don't. And there's a way to do that, to prepare for your transition and not get, because some people talk about like the white light being a
trap.
Yeah. What are your thoughts of that?
I think that's BS, and I think that somebody planted that seed that was not with the highest intention.
Okay.
And, it's really kind of cliche to tell people don't go to the light. If you're a dark force and you're trying to capture souls, you're going to tell them not to go to the light, right? So you invent this thing where it's an artificial light, and if you go to the light, you're going to get sucked into the tube. And you know what? I've also had a past life
crossover,
mid-death experience, and and I know that light, and there's no questioning what that is, that God light. So
I definitely know that I was speaking to
I think the information was planted to create fear in people. It's not enough that they're afraid of their lives. Let's make sure they're afraid of their afterlife so we can nail them nonstop. And
do you believe that there's this like machine behind the moon that reincarnates souls and all that good stuff? I'm so happy to talk to you right now, Patricia, because so many people, seriously, I will say to you,
it's very fashionable to be believing all this stuff that, that everything is mechanical, that we're in a hologram, that all of this, that there's a light waiting to trap you in the reincarnational. I can't believe that.
Right. And then I say, well, where's this super conscious or supreme source creator? Yeah. I know I have a great connection to the creator for sure. And from the highest, people talk, I talk to source and whatever, and I work for whatever. I don't know that, like for instance, people talking about they talked to Trump and met with Putin and all this other. Yeah.
Right. Can we hear the phone call, please? No, can't hear that. But bless them. I know
I'm being a little spicy right now, but
there are a lot of plants. Here's what I want to say about this without naming names. I believe that there are a lot of deliberate plants who are beyond CIA that are, look, if you are the dark force and you've got this problematic group called awake people, spiritual, alternative, truther groups, you aren't really going to let them keep talking to each other indefinitely. You're going to first infiltrate, because that's what you do. That's what the CIA does. They infiltrate everything. We're not that naive to think that we're just talking away here and not a problem. We're totally infiltrated. And after they gleaned the stuff we know by infiltrating, which is effortless because we're talking all the time everywhere, they started to cancel us. And then they started planting, well, let's say they planted long ago agents that are posing as truthers, spiritual leaders. Look at John of God, just to name a few.
No, oh my goodness.
Okay. So these people, if you want to call them people, are planted to disseminate misinformation, to completely crack this community and confuse people so they start arguing and taking guidance from them, heavily guised as leaders and gurus and spiritual people and teachers or whatever. They're them. So these people, like I said, they usually come in without a whole track record. I mean, all of a sudden I'm like, who's this guy now? Where did he come from? Oh, he's on every radio talk show. He's on, boom, boom, boom. It's usually money behind it. Their numbers get cranked up because the media is controlled. And I look at it all very objectively and think, well, I'm really fortunate that I have a psychic eye that is really, really active. And I can see through this bullshit.
Yeah.
I just immediately, I see these people and I listen to them. I go, why don't people recognize that this is a con?
Yeah.
And, all I can say about it is, get your discernment cranked up, turn up your
I appreciate I'm so glad that you have shared your perspective and your expertise and your wisdom with us in that, because I think so many people are I'll tell you, when I first woke up and I became aware that I was being used in my lab, military abduction and all this other stuff, I know I was. And I don't have, they sent a guy from the Pentagon to I even asked him, I was like, Rick, you got to know, I know you're here more than just because you like me. And I would ask him questions and make him uncomfortable to the point where he'd be like, all right, he'd get frustrated because he knew I knew. And he said to me, he said, if I didn't know you were special, I'd have left you alone a long time ago. And he walked out my front door. And he was like 6'4", Denzel swag, in the Air Force, last 4 years in his service in the Air Force. He worked at the Pentagon. I was being targeted for sure. My DNA activated. I did go up and come back down. I was creating out of thought. Everything that I would think was manifesting. I was writing my book. They didn't want me to complete the book because as I was writing, it was manifesting. I could go on and on and on. But anyways, but I wasn't willing to, well, some would suggest that I sacrifice myself. I don't know that that's true. I didn't know what the hell was going on at this level, maybe at a higher level. I don't know, but I don't believe I sacrificed myself. I think I did the best I could with what I was dealing with to try to make sense of what I was experiencing. And thank God I got myself out of it. And I left everything, 2 suitcases in my soul. And I moved from Maryland to Florida and I haven't looked back. If I was used or they came after me because of my DNA and they wanted to, use me for whatever happened, what I need to know, I feel I do. And if there's more, then I will when it's time. But I went through a lot of stuff, Patricia, and I'll tell you, I wanted answers. And, when you're going through that type of targeting and gang stalking and all that kind of stuff, it's, and you're looking for answers, some would say, okay, it's the dark night of the soul. And these are aspects of yourself that are, you're having to come to terms with. And no, I don't believe all that. I believe that there are some things that we didn't agree to prior to coming in, and you do the best you can with what's coming at you, like having energy weapons, like I felt like I woke up one night and just flew up out of my bed screaming my brother's name. I'm not quite sure why. They tried to blow my heart, quite literally. Like I felt like my heart was going to just blow up. It was not nice. But anyways, my point in saying all that is, so I was listening to a lot of different people, but like yourself, I was able to use discernment and say, okay, this isn't making sense. It doesn't resonate right with me. When I was able to just finally get away from all the stuff and sit still with myself and come to terms with some things and make sense of, and they're continuing to do it. It's psychic warfare. It's this psychological warfare to pit us against each other so that, people aren't able to come up out of the this god awful nonsense that's going on with these, these poisons that they want to inject in us, and the Trump and the Biden and the whole bit. Well, what do you think about? So you mentioned about Trump, and him, and wanting us to take these poisons. I mean, what do you think about all that? I've been to Trump rallies and I've supported him. I don't vote. I don't believe in voting, but I do support who I feel more inclined, more that I resonate with what they're doing. Definitely. I don't see him as a savior. I think that both sides have things that they're doing that's beneficial, and then obviously a lot that's not. So for humankind, for humanity. My biggest concern, Patricia, I know I just said a whole lot, because when you shared what you shared, it just put my mind into the kids, the children, the babies. That is my biggest concern. We are our adults. We can, fend for ourselves and do our best but these children that don't have a voice is just, I don't like to think about it, because it can take me into a very sad state when I think about it. It did for years.
Let's try not to go there, because
Yeah.
we don't want to get to a sad, disempowered.
Thank you.
So what's your question about
The
Trump?
question is what do you think about Trump and him promoting, taking these poisons?
I have been one of the first people in the Trump camp to question Trump. So back when everything was the 17th letter, and everybody was following the plan, I did a video called, "No, I don't think I'm going to follow the plan. No, I'm not following the plan." I got such a backlash because people like, Patricia Cori said she's not following the plan.
I love it.
Number one, I'm not a follower, ever.
Yeah, right.
So if you tell me I've got to follow something in order to be credible, I'm out. I'm never going to be part of the group. Number two, I question everything. So I was a supporter of Trump in the beginning. I thought this man can make change. He has vision. I mean, and of course, if you think about this current regime versus Trump, I think you have to be pretty much of an idiot to not notice that we were much better off when Trump was at the reign.
Of course.
However, I was one of the first people to question why he was pushing this freaking Jabberwocky. Okay. And I got a lot of backlash about it. Don't question the plan. And, this ridiculous storyline. One noted person said, it's a placebo. I go, really? So how come people are getting sick and dying from it if it's a placebo? And then, oh, well, it's because another noted person, you got to understand, he's got a bigger plan. I said, oh, so it's okay if a few million people die so that a few more million people live.
So happy yes.
Right? And then I hear people all the time saying, I wish they'd hurry up. Somebody very important in the spiritual community said to me privately, I really wish they'd just go ahead and die off so we can get on with it. And I said, so what makes you better than the reptilian overlords that are trying to kill us here? Excuse me. You better watch your words. Ask yourself, what your motivation is, because I don't want anybody to die so that we can move things along. And if you're telling me that that's what Mr. T's plan was, get enough people dying so enough people wake up, I've got a real problem with that.
Oh yeah, so do I.
Okay, but that is a standard rhetoric coming out of a lot of people. You have to accept the fact that he had a bigger plan in his mind. And I know I'm not accepting the fact that a person that we believe is a very possible big warrior for the light doesn't care about killing off millions of people so that others can live. I'm sorry. There has to be either a better plan or a better excuse, but I'm not buying it. And so today, I am no closer to understanding why he keeps pushing it. There are several possibilities. One is that the man that we knew and loved, who was talking about alternatives and healing and med beds, is no longer alive, and the man that's standing there is a clone. or an imposter because they have this kind of technology. We don't really know what they're doing, but you know, they're
Well, some
cloning.
would suggest that
They
he's
get their
got
animals.
cancer and that he's underground and that they're using his clones, and you're supposed to be able to see, tell by the different color of his tie and all this other stuff. And I don't know if it's,
I
I
don't know
just
either.
try to,
All I know
yeah.
is that the man who stood up and said there are other alternatives. We don't have to do this. Yeah, of course we'll investigate it, but what about this? What about ivermectin?
Okay, what
That
about
man,
the med beds and stuff, Patricia?
let me
Where,
let me finish this thought,
I'm
please.
sorry, I apologize.
That man, I don't see anymore. What happened to the conversation about ivermectin? I don't care if it's not politically incorrect. That was the whole thing about him not being politically correct. And he's not in the power seat. Maybe people say he is, but he's not visibly the president of the United States, even though we all hope he is the legitimate president of the United States. So why does he keep talking about it? Who is he doing that for? Why is he doing that? And then in Atlanta, he did his rally and people booed him when he told them to go get the shot. So he's backed off on that now. I got a problem with this. Now, that said, I really would love to see the real Mr. Trump come back into the seat. And perhaps he is underground in Wyoming, or where is it? The underground base? I can't remember.
Well, from my understanding, it's what's it called? Camp David or whatever. They keep them.
No,
There's a base underneath of it where they keep them. I don't know.
Cheyenne Mountain, I think it's called. Regardless.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is what I feel psychically, that the man that I stood behind is not the man that's talking now. And when I look at him, I don't see the same auric field. I don't feel the same energy. Yeah, he's got the rhetoric, but
I don't listen to him anymore. And I apologize for interrupting you. I know my mind goes a little bit. We really are resonating on the same frequency. Everything that you said. And thank you. I think it's so important, and I hope everybody hears this show. I think it's needed. People need to realize what's really happening.
And I don't think you or I profess to have the answer.
No.
Because I don't think there is one answer.
Right.
But I think what's important, and I really hope I'm getting across here, is that we question reality, every bit of it. Not that we have a desired outcome and there's a plan and we just have to trust the plan and everything will be groovy doovy. And not that we've won already, because what if we believe that, we stop fighting for
All right.
truth.
Thank you. Yes.
We just roll back and say, well, okay, the plan is there and we've already won it, so let's have a beer, man. And I think we're fighting for our civilization, not just our lives. We're fighting for civilization. We're fighting for planet Earth. We are fighting for our future, and we're fighting for our past. We're fighting for our genders. We're fighting for our history. We're fighting for our future, and there can be no complacency. So one of the things that I also bothered me about the plan is, okay, everybody stand down. We don't want to have a civil war. Why not? You know what? We needed a civil war. This is really going to get me into trouble here with this, whoever's listening. Back when on the 6th of January, when there was that, let's call it, moment, looked very staged to me. And the Trump forces said, stand down, stay home, be good, don't go out. Why? At that point, why didn't the forces of the Patriots stand up and go into the squares? And if there was something to be fought, fight it. We wouldn't be where we are today if that had happened. But no, we were told to stand down, everybody be good, let the dark forces play it out. I don't think that was the right strategy. Sometimes
I don't think it was either.
Sometimes
I never
you gotta
have.
get out and say, this is the line. We are united. This is the line. Don't try to cross it. No, we stayed home. We were good little patriots. We didn't do anything. And they steamrolled it on out. So I question why that was the mandate.
I think that what you mentioned about, I don't know who made that statement to you, and I can probably take a guess, but for some reason, they obviously are not coming out, but I mean, all the evidence is there that they really obviously want to get rid of a lot of people on this planet. And what do they think they're moving into? I mean, what do they think they're creating? For those of us that are awake and aware, we're not going to just sit back and not speak up and not use our voices and not,
Right, but they're using every kind of technique to make sure that we're silenced, including
of course.
warfare,
Yeah.
plants, agents, uh, shutting us down, going after us as a group, threats nonstop. And I just smile and say, never underestimate the human spirit.
That's right.
And as you look around now, people are
Thank
waking
you
up,
for-
and they are
yeah.
waking up, and it's going to be, I don't know if you listen to Cliff High.
I've listened a little bit years ago. I come across a few of his things. I didn't listen, but maybe I should go back, because I used to listen to him years ago. I kind of just pulled. You're one of the probably less than a handful of people that I continue to listen to. I just stopped giving my energy and my consent over to the nonsense because
Well, I don't think he's talking nonsense. He's a genius, and he's got some very, very interesting perspectives on what's going down.
no, I'm not suggesting I'm not talking about him. I'm saying other people that I just pulled back from. He wasn't one that I'm
forgetting why I brought him up. It was relevant to something we were talking about.
Sorry, Patricia, I didn't mean to keep interrupting you.
That's okay. I'm just trying to put it back together, but I can't remember. There was some.
You said Cliff High came out, did a
I don't remember.
something.
I was trying to relate to something that he said to what we were talking about, but I've just lost the stream, so it doesn't matter. But
About
anyway,
killing off people, or
he said, we can't fully grasp how grave this is going to be, no pun intended, because these people who have accepted the Jabberwocky are going to be disappearing. He's talking about the 1, 2, 3 jabs. He said, we're going to be facing a major die-off on this planet. And what I was bringing up about him was, he said, a lot of people are going to be woken up in shock. So many of us have been awake, like, I'm an old timer, awake since birth, but a lot of people have been gradually waking up, and all of a sudden we're going to have this huge population that is blown up awake by what's going down. And it's going to be heavy duty. And it's nonetheless going to be the awakening. So nobody said the awakening ascension was going to be an easy process.
No.
And when you hear these guru people saying they're on the 5th dimension, and it makes me laugh, because really, what are you still doing here in this miasm of trouble? Because the Sirian High Council said you're going to be going through the 4th dimension first. It's going to be rough. Get ready. You think you're just going to sprout wings and with all of this disharmony and people spewing the concept of we're all one, one soul, one heart. And then they can say in the next breath, I wish they'd hurry up and die already so we can get on with the process. It's like, I got a problem with this.
I don't know who that was. I really just don't even want to, I can't
there are
even.
Several people that I've heard say things or write things similarly.
Yeah.
Somebody
maybe out of frustration, they're just frustrated that it's taking as long. I mean, this is just like you said, this is a process. You don't get to, it's like, any other.
If you wish on one person that they hurry up and die,
I totally agree with you.
Don't talk to me about being a spiritual person. All right.
Patricia.
And that's why I say, if Trump's reason, which is some people are saying, is to let millions of people die so millions more will, I got a real problem with that. Call me a simpleton. And as far as the rest, anybody that says, let's wait and see, let's hurry up and get these people to go on to their next point of destination so that we can do what we need to do. It's like, well, how are you any better than the ones that are putting the needle in?
Yeah, I don't agree with that nonsense at all. Yeah,
I think it's terrible, and
it is terrible.
And I do have trouble with these people. I mean, I've been called everything in the book. I have people saying, if you don't believe in the jab, then you are asking for me to burn in hell. And somebody said, I'm going to burn all of your books because you're a witch, and because you're not taking the jab. And I've just listened to this thinking, these people are very, very ill. They're ill. They're already in a state of pre-zombie mind. And I feel terrified for them. Terrified for their.
Yeah, I just quickly, I'm sorry, Patricia, you're just, everybody in my family is taking this damn thing. I'm the only one that has not.
Mine too.
And I don't know what to think of it. I hate to say it now, I will share this with you. And I have gotten to a point where I enjoy, when I do spend time with my family, I enjoy them. But I have had to, in the backside of my subconscious or my heart space, just come to terms with the possibility that, I'm really going at this alone. This is not, and have
And then there's the
had
question
to
of
breathe. Yeah.
There's also the question of the shedding. So we've got a lot on our plate right now. There's a lot to manage and navigate our way through it all and stay intact, stay strong, and shine the light. And
I do ionic detoxes for people, Patricia, and I do believe in them. And business has dropped just this past month quite a bit, which, I guess is I started a couple years ago, and then the COVID, everything that going on with, I stopped because I started out of my home, and then I got to a point where my clientele got big enough where I could rent a small space in a salon. And I do believe in ionic detoxing. I think it does work, along with, well, you've had the guy that owns the zeolite, the Pure Body zeolite. Yeah, I use it every day. I've been using it for years. I love it. With
and
that,
I'm not supposed to make any claims about it because of medical. So I'm not telling you, I'm looking at the camera. I'm not supposed to tell you that since I've been taking this, I've lost all of the floaters in my eyes. For years, I've had floaters. Most people have floaters in their eyes. They're gone.
That's fabulous. Well, I can tell you, I had Hep C, right? I had some drug abuse when I was younger, and I was told that that it was in my what is it called, that it's in my body, but it wasn't active, basically, and nothing to worry about. My milk this, vitamin C, vitamin D, you're fine. Long story short, one day I was walking home from the grocery store, and it was hard for me to pick up my legs. Like, I felt like I had trunks on my legs. Like, every step I went to take, it felt like they were 200 pounds. It was ridiculous. Long story short, found out that it went active in my body. I went to the Mayo Clinic. I asked the doctor, what can I do that would be helpful without having to take heavy medication, so forth, so on. Well, I got the zeolite. I told her, is there an alternative, like something natural I can do to help myself rather than having to be on medication? Because I looked up Harvoni. Long story short, Patricia told me to stay away from it. It could interfere with being a match to take Harvoni, I started taking the zeolite. Immediately, I felt better. Okay? Immediately. Months later, when it was time to go into the doctor after having blood work and this and that, I took my sister-in-law, who I had told my whole family about the zeolite and how the doctors try to push medication. I know we're going to be ending here soon.
Sorry, I'm yawning. I don't mean to be rude. It's just, I think, relaxing.
No, you're fine. You're not being rude at all. Anyways, long story short, she said your viral loads have dropped tremendously. Well, my sister-in-law got upset and said to her, why didn't you tell her viral loads dropped before you prescribed her the medication? And the doctor looked right at her and said, you're not the patient, she is. Why are you asking questions? And my sister-in-law turned beet red. And it was almost like like I told you so kind of moment. Like I've been telling y'all. Anyways, long story short, I don't have it anymore. I did take the Harvoni, but I immediately went into high doses of the zeolite and the ionic detoxes to get whatever side, because when you take Harvoni, it's like taking chemo. But it did get rid of the vitamins, the vitamin C, the damn Hep C, and I'm very thankful that it's out of my body now. But that stuff does work, and yeah, and I'm glad that you're getting the benefits from it. It really is incredible the difference I felt.
It's called Pure Body Extra, and if people are interested, I've got a special. They're offering a special through my link on my site, and it's wonderful because it's a colloidal, like colloidal silver. It's zeolite in a colloidal form. So you spray it in your throat and it doesn't have to pass through the stomach. So it goes right into the blood system and it just works so much better.
Fabulous. I'm glad.
I've
that
never
you
endorsed a product before in my life, but this
well,
is wonderful stuff.
Well, I highly recommend it. And I recommend everybody go to her website and order it because you are going to be very happy to once you start feeling the benefits, which only take a few days. I mean, I noticed right away.
Yeah.
So, and I've been using it for a couple of years. It's amazing.
Maybe people should know if they're interested, because I don't think I have it up on my website, but if they're interested in getting in on that discount, they can just contact me through my contact page on patriciacori.com and I'll send them the link. But I'll be taking it for the rest of my days because things like detoxing heavy metal, we have to keep remembering that we keep taking it in. It's not like you detox it and it's over. The water has arsenic in it. Rice, I was shocked to find out how much arsenic there is in rice. Did you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm Italian. We eat risotto.
Yeah.
Right. So
well, it's in everything. It's in everything.
Yeah. So, if you're eating rice, you have to wash the rice at least 4 times before you put it on the stove. Put the water in, rinse it around, out comes this white milky stuff 4 or 5 times until you cook it. So
I'm so bad about that. My family's good about it. I'm not. I'll soak it for a little bit and then rinse it and I'm ready to eat. I'm putting it on the stove. But I bless my food. I'm not, yeah. I bless my food. I just don't, there were so many things that had me so worried about this and that. Like yesterday, I posted, they were spraying right over top of my house. All you see is these big X's, because of the full moon. Like, I consider myself to be a pretty awake, aware, activated, highly learned person in my own right, for my own experiences. And I just don't consent to that nonsense. I don't agree with it. And I try to explain to people, you got to get yourself cleaned out. If you really want to connect and activate DNA, first off, go to Patricia's website and get her course, one, but get your body cleaned out. We got to do that. Drink lots of water, get your body cleaned out, go for a 20-minute walk, get some fresh air, go into nature, get away from the computers, the phones, the whole bit. You're blessed in that you've been able to create the life you have, Patricia. A lot of people just don't have, their lives are busy. And then I have to remind, I'm sorry?
It takes guts.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy to do this, right? It takes guts. It's like, I have a vision of how I want to live these years before this all came down. I told my ex, it's going to come down hard. I said, it's coming soon. And I said, this house that I'm buying on the island is my escape pad. And he said, what do you think you're going to escape from? I said, I don't know, but that's what I'm doing. And I took every cent I had to get a mortgage. It's not just, you just float into these choices. It's hard work, right? And it's time right now to be really conscious of your choices. They matter. Maybe your life depends on it. And something like, for example, like you said, cleansing is really important. And a lot of people are like, whatever. But we accumulate all this heavy metal. And think of this, if you've got an animal, you worm your animals every 3 months. You never worm yourself. We're full of parasites. There are parasite cleanses. There are things to do that are not fear-based. It's just like smart. it's really
Absolutely.
wise to think about alternatives, because right now I'm into prepping, and in fact, I'm doing several videos about it.
No,
But
I saw that. I'm going to be watching and learning from
I
you.
really
And
want to
thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
And so a few people said, I really wish you weren't in so much fear, Patricia. I wish you'd get back to your spirituality. I'm going, what are you talking about? I'm not in fear. I'm in prep. So if a calamity happens, because by the way, 900 miles away is La Palma volcano spewing out an entire new island, right?
Mhm.
I'm not in fear of that. My attitude is if it's time to go, poof, let me go out with style. But in the meantime, if there are emergencies, before I started prepping, I had no clue. And in Italy, there was a terrific storm years ago, and I had a country house outside of Rome. And the rain started, the snow, I've never seen snow like this. The pieces of snow were like this big. And the night before they announced the storm was coming, I said, I better get some prep here. Because I lived in this house in the country, and my man, we didn't live together. So he had a place in Rome, and usually he would come home at night, sleep with me, but not every night, right?
Mhm.
So I thought, okay, storm coming. I'm out here. Franco isn't able to come. Let me get stocked. I got stocked with food. I got the freezer filled. I blew a bunch of money and just managed to get everything I need. I got a special gas heater. I brought wood up from the fireplace, sorry, from the garage, because the electric door would lock. Sure enough, the snow started to come down. And the thing that's really funny about snow is if you not
Patricia,
used,
excuse me 1 second. I need to put my charger on. It looks like it's getting ready to drop. 1 second.
okay,
I'm listening to you now. 1 second. Sorry to interrupt you.
that's okay.
Plug this because it just got dark my screen. I'm like, wait a minute, it's getting ready to die.
So
There
can
we
I
go.
continue?
Please go ahead.
All right. So the snow started coming down. And if you're not used to snow, which I wasn't, and neither are the Romans, it's so quiet. And I opened the door and it's white out. I go, what? Just major snowstorm, a whiteout. I couldn't believe it. And it snowed all night. And in the morning, the gas was out, the water was out, the electricity was out, because the Italians didn't know how to deal with it. The southern middle down, they didn't know from snow, right? And I thought, okay, well, thank you guys for helping me prep, because I had filled the bathtub with water. I had pots of water stored. I took the frozen food out of the freezer and stuck it in the snow because it didn't melt. So all the freezer food was fine. I just kept taking food out of the snow. I had brought in the wood. I was completely fine. And it lasted
I
for
love that. I
it
love
lasted
that you do.
for
Yeah.
4 days.
Hmm.
So I heard that on the 5th day, people were almost killing each other because they got a truck through with food supplies and water, and people were almost killing each other to get the water. And I was sitting there. I had bottles of water. I had bathtub water. It's just prep, thinking ahead. It's not fear-based, right?
That's right. I
So
agree.
right now, I believe that they're going to cut off the food supply. I know there are 146 ships off the coast of California alone that are not docking because there are no staff. A lot of the dock workers have been fired because they won't jab. Others are walking off the job. Others are actually sick, protesting, whatever. These ships are not docking. There are no truckers to take the food where it needs to go. They're creating a deliberate shortage. Phase 2 of this debacle. And it's a great idea to be prepped. So my approach is, let's make sure we have a balance of frozen food, dehydrated food, and hopefully a growth. Right now, I don't have a nursery, but growing your own food. So, and canned food, so that if there is a shortage, I'm not going to be fighting it out at the supermarket. And so
I
I've been
stock
doing
up
a
on
30-day.
tuna and stuff. I don't care for I try to stay away from canned food, but of course I will eat it if I need to. And I would love to grow my own food. I don't have a space for that. I definitely, have a lot of family in this area, although I'm not really talking to some of them at this point. For, I just feel like I'm moving, I'm going through a definitely a major shift in my life right now. But I have shared about this stuff. My thing is I've been talking about this, well, you have way longer than me, but I've been talking about stocking up and water and doing, preparing, right? Better to be prepared than be without. Have some extra. And if you can get a little extra and help a neighbor, I mean, yeah.
And the thing is that I've done a 30-day test. I'm on day 24. And I haven't been out of the house. I haven't gone to go grocery shopping for 24 days. And
I haven't tried that. I'll have to, yeah.
It's really, you really realize, a couple of cans isn't going to solve your problem if there's a shortage or a crisis. How long can you go without needing to go to the grocery store? First clue. So because I've been doing a lot of this prepping, I'm stocked. It's day 24. The only thing I've run out of is eggs. That's pretty cool. And I will not have anything that needs eggs until the 30 days. I'm not going to the supermarket to interrupt this test. But I've got dehydrated food that I've done. I've got, I've stocked. Freezers are still stocked. And it's a great feeling. It's a very secure feeling, like, okay, because when you live on an island, there's only one ship that brings in supplies a week.
Yeah.
So if ships are a problem, what happens if that ship doesn't come for a few weeks?
See, your situation's a bit different too. I mean, I'm surrounded by, I get it. I understand. I mean, I definitely still want to be prepared. I don't know. I mean, that's interesting that you bring up eggs because, I had stopped. So I don't eat meat. I do eat fish and eggs. So, but fish and eggs and, I do eat cheese occasionally. I try to really stick closest to the earth as I can, but I'm not perfect at it, but I love my pasta and, whatever. Like some things
I'm not a vegan and I'm not a I call myself a non-meat eater. So I'm not a pure anything. But
me neither. Yeah.
I have a little dairy. Actually, I have a lot of dairy because cheese is a big part of our culture in Europe, right?
Sure.
And this island is a dairy farm island. So there will always be cheese and dairy here.
Yeah.
But
I love some good mozzarella cheese and pita bread and sun-dried tomato and some nice olives. I'm Arabic, Mediterranean. I mean, yeah. So I appreciate.
I've just found out how to make mozzarella, make my own mozzarella. It's really easy. So that's my new thing. I'm going to be trying to make my own mozzarella.
Well, I can't wait to watch some of your prepping shows. I mean, that's so exciting. And it's so lovely that you open your home and your space and share with us and do all the teachings that you're amazing. You're such a
I want
good.
everybody to be okay.
Yeah, so do I. I get it. Me too. I do.
And to transmute or transform this idea that I trust the universe and I'll be fine, to I trust the universe, but I'm also a catalyst.
Going to do my part. That's right.
To give me what I need. So yes, I trust the universe, but that doesn't mean that I can't be preparing for an emergency.
Well, I mean, it's like that saying, God helps those who help themselves. You can't sit back and think that miracles take place every day. We call them miracles. They're actually happenings that are already part of our reality. And the more you're in touch with that and you're being a manifester, as you say, an intentional manifester, and you're creating, as you're going along in life and making, we wake up and we think, okay, what am I going to do today? And then we walk into that manifestation. We can do that. Take small steps to empower ourselves every day. And I was going to ask you that, like, what are some of the solutions that you would recommend, or some things that people can do on a daily basis that will really empower them and, in these times that we're living in? Everybody isn't, doing YouTube channels. Everybody is, they're still working. There's police officers and military people, and, just people, everyday people, like the janitor or the trash man. I mean, these people are providing services for us, but a lot of them have, maybe some are awake, maybe some aren't. But what would you say to people, everyday people, what they can do to empower themselves and to start, turning their trajectory into a different direction and walking in their own sovereignty and knowingness.
For starters, the word is sovereignty. And so we have this gigantic question. Will you or will you not accept this poison? And if you do, you are giving up your sovereignty. So right there is the crux of everything. You have to make that decision now. It's a life and death, in my humble opinion, decision. And
agree.
there are people who have already done it who are starting to be afraid because they're realizing they made a mistake. And there are people who are teetering that I don't have any choice because they're going to fire me. It's a existential moment. And so you and I and a lot of people are saying, I don't care what they roll out. I will never allow this to happen to me.
That's right.
And, when you ask me what should people do, they have to make that choice now. And it's going to mean sacrifice, and it's going to be meaning a change of lifestyle. It may mean moments of poverty, of despair, but it's your life. I really feel strongly about that.
I totally, I'm 100%, 1000% in agreement with what you just said. Absolutely. I will tell you this, Patricia, I took a flu shot in 2013 after saying no 1,000 times. The pharmacist was a Black African man, and I used to go in and get my medications as usual. One day I said, okay, it was a white lady in a white coat. For whatever reason, I felt safe with her. I said yes to the flu shot. And my doctor, Dr. Lachanina, said, Ida, whatever you've done, it's attacked your neurological system. I was shaking like it was horrible. And that was 2013. God knows what was in it then. We definitely know, and I've done a lot of the best I can to detox myself and taking the zeolite. And interesting enough, the zeolite is made of volcanic ashes. From my understanding, it smothers the toxins and the heavy metals and pushes them out through your waist tracts. And people, please do contact or go to Patricia's website and order it, because you're going to be very happy to you think clear, you have more energy, and you feel better all the way around. I mean, I just think the stuff is the best.
Product is going into the bloodstream, so it's going into the cells and removing the toxins directly there, which is so cool, because you don't have to wait for it to go through your digestive tract. It's going right into the cells of the blood. So that's an important thing. And then to finish the question that you asked me, what should people do after that point of establishing that you're going to be sovereign no matter what? Stop arguing and fighting and trying to convince everybody, and start generating like-minded dialogue with people that understand, and that it's time to build communities here. It's time to seriously think about when we are, let's say, cold, which I think is happening. Who do we have around us? How do we join together to provide each other what we need? And how do we stay healthy? Lots of people are doing a lot of protocols that include vitamin D. Why do you think Gates wants to shade the sun? You know that number? He wants to put a chemical layer of dust or whatever, particles over the sun. For the moment, it's been delayed, but that's his latest trick. Why? Because he doesn't want us to get sun. He wants to kill off. Well, I gotta be careful what I say here.
Well, some people say that that's not even Gates, that him and his wife were executed in India years ago. I mean, we're dealing with clones that are inhabiting these beings. I'm sorry?
Some people say that, but either Gates or a clone of his was last seen entering 10 Downing Street yesterday. So I'm bored with everybody saying they've been executed. Where's the proof? Show me some proof here.
Well, yeah, that's right. I agree.
You're executing these people. Why aren't there pictures of it? Why don't we have video of it? No, it's all top secret. So, I don't believe all that. I want to see proof of that. In the meanwhile, these guys are wreaking havoc. And if, the question, and this is a heavy conversation, if they do have the access to cloning these people, then if you kill the original species, the original model, you can keep cloning it indefinitely. So, then what? Do they ever go away?
Can I share something with you, Patricia? I know of somebody, I'm not going to mention name, but I know of somebody that when you see them on the alternative media, I've met with them face to face. They look completely different. They're not the same. Okay. So they don't
Yeah.
always get killed off, I don't believe. They don't
Yeah,
get,
but
but there's these replicas of them that are used in these alternative medias for a certain agenda and so forth and so on.
some
Like
of
they
them,
try, from my understanding,
go ahead.
they tried to take me out of my body and put me in a new body. They tried to remove my soul from my body and put it in another. And that didn't happen. But I will tell you, I remember hanging from my feet and being sacrificed and offered up to Moloch. It was pretty ugly. It's not a good memory, but I'm past it because I'm a powerful soul. And I will absolutely not be bullied or fear, made to go insane and give up my sovereignty and my body and my soul for the status quo. I will leave the body and go wherever I need to go, but no, yeah. So it does happen, even in alternative media. And the only reason I can say that is because I have firsthand experience and meeting and the person admitting to me. And he was scared to talk to me because he knew I was going to see and recognize the difference in him. But, well, I would say, I don't know, scared, but he was reluctant. But we had to have a talk and it was time for me to know, and it's okay. And I don't judge him. I just don't deal with him anymore because I believe that different people are being used for different things. And I'm so thankful to have this conversation with you, with somebody that is thinking, along the lines of me, that we're resonating in the same frequency. And I don't have the influence on the public or on my listeners or on people. You've been around for so much longer, Patricia. And if people need to, if you've been doing what you're doing, say 30 years now or more, and sharing and staying consistent and staying true to what you feel strongly about, people need to take that and really, take heed and understand. I mean that honestly. Like, I'm so thankful to, more than having this, just to be able to talk with you, because you've relieved me of, if that's the right word I'm using. I just feel so much more like, I have somebody that I so know I resonate with in such a big way that, that has the same kind of has the same thought process and how things are going. And, and I learned so much from you, and I just can't tell you thank you enough. I mean that, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's 3:25. I know that Katie has her boys to pick up.
And my dogs are going to start getting ballistic.
Yeah. So can you share your contact information forward to me, or I can pull, I don't know if I prefer, if you don't mind, share the links with me on Messenger. And when we upload the video to YouTube, we will put all your information underneath for anybody that's interested in working with Patricia, taking her course, ordering Zeolite from her, reading her books. I highly recommend. And, if you're not able to do that, you're not in a position, financially, go to YouTube, pull up her lectures, yes, you're amazing.
I will never charge anything for my YouTube channel. So it's there. And I
And
also,
she's
by the way, I also do readings, clairvoyant readings and coaching, if anybody's interested in that.
okay. Well, that's something I'm seriously will be, I may be contacting you about that, but I need to get my own financial stuff going. And it is just coming along little by little, but I appreciate you. Thank you, Patricia. So your contact information, again, real quick before we close, and then we'll.
My main website is www.patriciacori.com. And from there, anything you need to know that's not on the site, you can go to the contact page. I always answer requests. So, some people have got a shield up around them, but I don't. If you go to the contact message me page, you can send me a message and I'll answer.
Very good. Thank you,
Okay.
Patricia.
So
Thank you
thank
for
you
all.
so much.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to spend all this time with you. And it's been a long time coming, huh? And
Yes.
I just want to
I,
announce to everybody that I blew the time and was an hour behind for some reason. And Aida was so gracious to come swing back and proceed with the interview. So thank you
oh,
for.
I wasn't going to pass you up for nothing.
Yeah, you
Maybe
were
somebody
doing
else I would have
what
said, we'll reschedule, but I wasn't going to lose the chance. I definitely give credit where credit's due. You are definitely a forerunner for us women and men, for so many in the galactic world where we are trying to bring, or not trying, people like yourself that are bringing information in and sharing it with us and being kind enough to make it your life's work and do such a fabulous, yes, you're amazing. And I hope you come back. And I know I'm new at interviewing, Patricia, your patience with me, I appreciate it. I'm kind of sometimes, yeah, I can get a little bit all over the place, especially when you say certain things and I'm like, okay, and the brain starts going, yeah.
But the important thing is that people understand, number one, we're not in the same room. So sometimes we speak over each other. And number two, when we're excited in a dialogue, we can get into that space. It's not a lack of respect. It's excitement.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. That's correct. Thank you. Thank you, beautiful Patricia Cori. I hope you come back. Maybe in a few months we can have you back and we'll be talking about some. I hope, I really encourage people to go to her website and just check her out, and definitely check her out on YouTube. You could go to her Facebook and see some of the posts that she posts about. You're amazing, and I'm looking forward to your show this weekend on.
My show this weekend is The Art of Prepping, and I'm going to be talking about how to dehydrate food and create some stock in your house. It's fun. It's not scary. It's fun. And so I'll be talking about aspects of preparing food for storage.
Very good. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Love you.
Love you too.
It's my dog. She's like, okay, are you ready?
She wants you. I'm giving you up. She's like, all right, Mama. Yeah. She is so beautiful. Hi, pretty girl. Okay. Very good. I will talk to you soon.
Okay. I got you.
Yep. I love it. Oh, she's so lovely.